All right. Hey, 2, I'm Lucky, and Destiny 2 update 4.15 is live. We've got the patch notes ready to go. Activities, raids, and dungeons. The Derelict Leviathan. Corrected power levels on minor combatants associated with the shared feared triumph, which were set higher than intended. Duality. Dungeon, we got adjusted the balance between armor and weapon rewards, and set weapon drops to prefer those that have not had their patterns unlocked. Nice. Adjusted the drop chance of deep sight weapons within the duality dungeon. So that's nice. Fixed an issue where players sometimes get trapped in the nightmare. Splash damage against bells no longer triggers a teleport. Well, that would have been really nice for the Soul of Flawless, wouldn't it? Fly in cinematic has been added when launching into duality. Grasp of Avarice. The final boss no longer teleports out of the spawn location at the start of the encounter. Got it. Gameplay and investment. Abilities. Fix an issue where Celestial Fire and Well Radiance did not display the type of Scorch and Ignition keyword flyouts when hovering over the corresponding abilities. Fix an issue where super icons were not displaying next to the super description when hovering over your equipped subclass in the character screen. Fix an issue where Radiance weapon damage boost was unintentionally stacking with tier 1 damage boosts and Power Rift high energy fire against PvE combatants. Interesting. What do you think that means? Fix an issue where Radiance weapon damage boost was unintentionally stacking with tier 1 damage boost? Power Rift?
You'd be able to stack Radiant with like energy and font anymore.
Damn, that was what was
They
giving.
still now only have Radiant and font, or high energy and font, not Radiant.
Yeah, there was that triple. It was that triple buff that was making it really strong for certain builds and certain loadouts, right? So
Yeah.
no more. Damn, that was be an interesting change. Fix an issue where solar grenades with molten overload equipped was not stunning overload champions. Well, that will actually be sick though. So that might actually be a viable way of stunning champs now. We should definitely test that out immediately. Fix an issue where friendly vortex grenades could sometimes display a burning status effect display to friendly targets. Note we are aware of an issue where Vortex Grenade is dealing lower damage than intended versus PvE targets, and we're planning for a fix later release. I thought they just fixed Vortex Grenade doing too little of damage. I guess it's another fix.
They did say that.
Armor. Fix an issue where Caliban's hand behavior was different between PvE and PvP. Ignition will now proc when defeating enemies by both direct hits and explosions for PvE and PvP.
Let's go. I was literally just testing that out yesterday, and I was like, these are terrible.
Yeah.
So now that might be actually sick.
It should be. This fix introduced a new issue we are investigating where Caliban's hand will not only apply Scorch. Let me mute this. Will not only apply Scorch to a single target. Fix an issue where Caliban's hand wasn't working as intended with Radiant and Knock Him Down aspect. Fix an issue where Solar Fulmination was causing damage to the player inside the blast radius of the ignition. Fix an issue where the...
That's like a massive buff.
Yeah, it sounds like it's crazy.
Don't die to your own ignitions now.
That's crazy. I'm reading all this just like, damn, it's about to get crazy.
That made Incandescent like kind of hard to use in like close range situations.
The Hunter thing was kind of hard to do in GMs too, with like spines. You keep blowing yourself up. Now you won't even do that.
If you wouldn't blow yourself up with that now, that would actually be crazy. It's gonna be really good.
Yeah, Caliban's are probably insane too in GMs.
Fixed an issue where the Righteous Cloak was missing its cape from the feminine model. This introduced a new issue we're investigating where the dye markup of the cloak was reverted to default. Fixed an issue where the top part of the Mark of the Falling Star ornament disappeared if a player's helmet was set to off. Fixed an issue where the combat mod Heavy-Handed did not proc with a Titan Stasis melee. Got it. Fixed an issue where the Omnioculus Hunter Exotic was clipping through the Frumious Cloak. Got it. Weapons Airborne Effectiveness. Here we go. Some of the juicy stuff. We've got reduced airborne penalties for all primary weapons. Reduced airborne accuracy penalty at low airborne effectiveness by 20 to 40% varies per primary weapon archetype. Reduced airborne auto-aim bullet bending penalty at mid and high airborne effectiveness by 20%. Reduced airborne magnetism penalty by 40%. Some perks now give a static airborne effectiveness stat buff in addition to their other effects. Air Assault plus 10 airborne effectiveness at all times in addition to plus 60 when at low health. Extended Nag gives plus 10 airborne effectiveness and steady rounds plus 7 airborne effectiveness. So they're kind of reverting some of the harshness of the airborne effectiveness stuff. We'll have to test out some of that, see how Accurate, hand cannons in the air, especially, would be weapon archetypes. Hand cannons, precision, 180 RPM, increased body shot damage from 37 to 40, like we talked about. So the big 180 RPM buffs can now 2 crit 2 body guardians. Got it. Auto rifles, increased body shot damage from 19 to 20. Precision multiplier moves from 1.6 to 1.5. Crit damage stays the same at 30. Got it. So a little bit of an adjustment to auto rifles. Scout rifles, precision, 180 RPMs. Increase their body shot damage from 34 to 38. Crit moves from 54 to 60. Can 2 crit 2 body against 197 HP guardians. Got it. High impact 150s. Increase body shot damage from 38 to 42. Crit moves from 66 to 73. Can now 2 crit 1 body. Very nice. We'll see how that plays out. Shotguns, increased pellet shotgun PV damage bonus from 10 to 25%. I want to see how good that is now. Linear fusion rifles, change the previously added flinch to only apply to damage from other players, so it just applies to PvP, not in PvE. Have less flinch when getting shot by enemies in PvE. Glaives, increased ammo per special brick from 1 to 2 in PvP. Got it. So just specifically glaives. Everything else just gets 1, more or less. Exotics Lawrence Driver, reduced the aim assist from 32 to 22, so that won't be nearly as crazy. Reduce the suction against players, which was also really crazy. Remove the universal 2x flinch nerf from previous change. Wow. Lawrence Driver just got absolutely axed. Hard there. We'll see if it's still good. It should be decent. I don't think it'll be terrible, but won't be as much of a tyrant as it was. Galhorn, primary rocket, no longer has proximity detonation. Wolfpack rounds now deal half damage to players. Got it. So that won't be as a tyrant in Gambit, which is, I swear, every time I invade, it's just a Galhorn flying at me. The last word, reduced hipfire precision angle by 50%, reduced damage and aim assist fall off distance by 3 meters, so substantial nerf to the last word. Forerunner, increased ammo per special brick from 3 to 4 in PvP, reduced ammo per special brick from max to 16 in PvE. Ariana's Vow, increased ammo per special brick from 1 to 2 in PvP. Suros, increased airborne effectiveness from 23 to 31. Dude, I'm flying in the air with my Suros this weekend in trials. That's a fact. Got this. Whisper of the Worm, increased airborne effectiveness from 9 to 20. Interesting. Monte Carlo from 21 to 29. And Forerunner from 22 to 27. All right, down to the last bit here. We got fixes in general. Fix an issue where many weapons with non-standard ammo types for their archetype were not receiving the correct damage multipliers. This resulted in incorrect damage and or health rubber banding for some exotic or legendary perks on these weapons. Trace rifles, special ammo grenade launchers, Ariana's Vow, Fighting Lion, Forerunner. Reshaping perks available for the Tears of Contrition Scout Rifle has been updated to reflect its intended selections. This also correctly applies the Accurized Rounds perk to any prior weapons that were reshaped to have ineligible perks. Slightly reduce the time to level a shaped weapon. Got it. Like that. Enhanced Incandescent now only applies plus 5 Scorch stacks. Fixed behavior around additional Scorch stacks being applied incorrectly, varying based on combatant. Fixed an issue with shaped instances of Callus Mini Tool and Drang broke, where the Masterwork border wouldn't appear when the weapon had an enhanced intrinsic and 2 enhanced traits. The Heart Shadow Exotics Swords Catalyst perk, Wraithwalk, no longer provides benefit while the weapon is out of ammunition. Got it. The Extrovert Origin trait now correctly activates on glaive melee. Fix an issue where that caused the Heart Shadow Exotic Swords projectiles to apply weaken on all hits instead of only hits made with the shot in the dark active. Fix an issue. I didn't even realize that was happening. That's actually pretty crazy. Fix an issue where the Galu RR3 sniper claimed that it used primary ammo. Fix an issue where Anarchy was dealing inconsistent damage. The Anarchy bug is over. The Anarchy bug is gone. Fix an issue where burst linear fusion rifles could fire faster than intended. So that's a nerf to the Storm Chaser where we could fire a little bit faster if you release the trigger. Fix an issue where chain of command could not be made kinetic by switching between perks. Where it could be made kinetic by switching between perks. Interesting. Fix an issue where Cryosthesia 77K wasn't working as intended with the piercing sidearm artifact mod. Got it. Fix an issue where Python and exit strategy did not count towards the Dark Age Arsenal triumph. Fix an issue where all laner fusion rifles and some exotics had unintentionally reduced damage versus champions. Really? So that probably happened from Arbalist. So they fixed that, I guess. I didn't even realize that was an issue. Fix an issue allowing Sura's regime to keep the spinning up trait between reloads. General, the first gig emote will no longer have its infectious melody spread to other emotes. Tracking a seasonal challenge before the season resets may result in a challenge that cannot be untracked in following seasons. Added images for earnable rewards to the Witch Queen dungeon key. Well, there you have it. That is the entirety of the patch notes. Definitely some interesting stuff with the airborne effectiveness. Revert to changes. We'll see if we can jump up in the air and can, without having to spec into it too much, if our weapons hit where they're actually aiming. See if the community likes these changes. Looking forward to some of this stuff. Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. Smash the like button. See you in the next one. Later.